Let's talk about Texas. I feel like Texas
Okay.
is it was a real confounding thing for this show. I mean, we know who Texas basketball has always been,
Yeah.
but then we're watching Chris Beard. We both believe in Chris Beard. We think
It's a matter of time.
it's a matter
It's
of
always
time.
been a matter of
Yes.
time that Texas is,
Someone would get it right.
yeah.
And Chris Beard
Yeah.
has checked all those boxes. And he also, I mean, climbed up, out of the ranks and, everything looks right. But Texas still had a bit of fraud to them because they had not won outside of the state of Texas. They go to MSG.
Yeah.
This game was, signed, sealed, and delivered for the Longhorns. They should have won this game. But somehow, some way, Illinois, with the help of Jaden Epps and, Dane Danger, who was great in this game.
Danger.
I mean, Dane Danger. I mean, he really set the tone and kind of gave Illinois a nice spark they needed in this game. And then overtime, TJ Shannon, Terrence Shannon Jr. came to life. I was texting you in the
Is
first
he actually TJ, or are you the only one? Because I feel like you might be the only one that's.
No, people are calling him TJ.
Because every time I watch Illinois play, they're still calling him Terrence.
Because they're behind the times.
Okay, all right.
He branded himself TJ. I heard him say it. That's the reason I say it. Because I love a brand makeover, especially when you're trying to make people forget. Like Trevon Brazile, right? He's at Missouri. No one's talking about him. He transferred to Arkansas. He throws down the big dunk and brand makeover. Everyone's like, oh my God, who's this freshman for Arkansas? That's what you got to do.
You're not wrong. You're not wrong.
TJ Shannon, I think he was a little in his head because Chris Beard obviously recruited him. He played for Chris Beard at Texas Tech. So, that there was a whole bunch of emotions. But once we got to overtime, Shannon clicked in, ended up getting 16 points in overtime in the second half. So it was good to see that. But I want to talk about Texas because this brought me back into cause for concern territory when it comes to Texas.
Yeah,
not all the way. I'm not panic button.
I don't think Texas is a fraud. I think Texas just like a little over-eager, overzealous to crown Texas. The crowning was a little premature, and Texas is going to be a great team all year. I still think Texas, like when you look at like what we've seen out of Kansas and Baylor so far this season, I think Texas is the best team in the Big 12, aren't they? I mean, like are they the team that you would feel the highest on right now?
Right now,
I mean, Big 12 fans listening know how this all shakes out, and that Allen Fieldhouse is going to enter the equation and like chew teams up and spit teams out. And like at the end of the day, it's probably going to be Kansas, but. As far as like teams that we like right now, Texas I'm still very high on them. It's just the feeling of like waiting to see what we're going to get out of Texas. Like their schedule has been garbage other than 2 games. They beat Creighton and they beat Gonzaga both at home. They blew the doors off Gonzaga, which at the time felt like a huge win. I mean, if you're building an island of people that are going to hang out on that all beat Gonzaga, that island's going to fill up pretty quickly. It's growing. Yeah. It's going to be pretty big by the end of the season, I think. I think this Gonzaga team is not the Gonzaga teams of past. That's becoming very clear to me. So like, yeah, I don't mean to say that's not a good win. It was just like,
it's just not the
enough.
Quality that it was at the time.
Beating Gonzaga at home isn't enough for me to be like, damn, that's the best team in the country. Right. And then Creighton had my attention, but at the same time, Creighton couldn't hit. Creighton turns around, loses to Nebraska at home. So now you're like starting to look at the whole picture of Texas, and you're like, they are a very good team. Love the pieces, but they've literally not played a game outside of the state of Texas.
Yeah,
they finally do. They should have won this game.
Absolutely,
they let this game. They kind of choked this thing away.
And that comes down back to the reason why I was kind of excited about Texas, and I thought that they may have turned the corners because I thought with Tyrese Hunter being a true point guard,
he'd be a closer.
They had someone to not only close the game but control the game.
Yeah,
and know how to. We should win this game, so let's ice this game. Let's have that one possession where we need to score. Let's get that one stop we need. But to me, the person that looks like the most sound when it comes to those decisions is Jabari Rice. Sir Jabari. Also a nice, brand makeover. He went from Sir Jabari Rice to just Jabari now.
Yeah.
He's letting everyone know.
He's been unknighted.
Yeah, he's no longer a Sir.
I think when the Queen died, he lost the Sir.
Yeah, he's like,
I think the Sir.
He's like, I'm done. Yeah, I'm done with this. But Jabari Rice actually seemed more of someone like in that mode, in that mindset than Carr or Hunter. And that is, I was excited about Hunter being there for Carr's sake, but Carr still wants the ball at the end of games. And I think a little hero ball. There's a little bit of who's actually making these decisions. So I think some of that stuff has to get worked out.
I think Marcus Carr is the guy that is ultimately going to have to make the plays for them down the stretch. He's got the Caleb Love. He's got the that gene that wins the final. If Texas is in fact in the Final Four and there's 2 minutes left and you're down by 1, you're just kind of giving the ball to Marcus Carr saying like, please save us.
Yes.
And he's gonna say, watch this. What happens next? I don't know. But
step back, crossover.
If he's playing against Ohio State, I promise you he will make the shot.
That 100%.
If he's playing against other teams, I don't know. But yeah, you're right. Like Tyrese Hunter is supposed to be the guy that says, like Marcus Carr is more like we're down 1, we need a big shot type guy. Let's cross our fingers he hits it. Tyrese Hunter is the guy like we're up 4 with a minute and a half. Let's ice this game. And
let's have a good possession.
Yeah, let's like run the clock at run the football, get the first down.
We'll get a good shot here. Or we'll go to the free throw line. Yeah, there's things like that.
And I still think they're figuring that part out. I don't think there's not cause for concern in that. Like I don't think the Tyrese Hunter Marcus Carr marriage is going to work. Like I think it's going to work. I think they're going to be fine. And they like each other. But yeah, they're still ironing that out. This game to me was it ended up being like a fun finish, but it's pretty chaotic and sloppy on both sides. And
it started out really fun. Like Matthew Myers hitting everything and looking like a star.
A lot of one-on-one, a lot of airballed shots, a lot of
guys knew that they were playing in MSG.
Yeah.
And
Deja airballed a free throw at one point. Yeah, a lot of guys didn't know that they were
like
in
Terrence
MSG.
Shannon, for example. He was in there, and you could tell in the first half. I don't know if it was Chris Beard in his head or something was in his head where he was like, "I'm not even here in this game." And then overtime came and he was locked in.
Where they showed Terrence TJ. I'm sorry, I don't want to dead name him. They showed TJ's his stats from other times he played MSG, and then they like I think it was Holly Rose said like he told me before the game he loves playing here, he loves putting on a show when he comes to New York. I don't like that, Tate. I like that out of my NBA players that have been in the league for like 7 or 8 years. I don't like that out of guys that are still in college that are like, every time I come to New York, I want to put on a show.
Yeah.
That's not what we need out of our college basketball players.
And honestly, Sky Clark, we love Sky Clark. He's a friend of the program, but he definitely had an MSG mindset.
Yes.
And in this game, Brad Underwood's like, you have to come and sit down, and we're going to have to put in Jaden Epps.
I do love this Illinois team. Their ceiling is incredible. I think as more time goes by and we get more data points, big games like this, I'm going to eventually get to the point where I convince myself they could theoretically win a national championship. Like they are good enough to beat any team in the country on any given night. I don't think I'm ever going to get to a point where I believe that this team can win 6 games in a row in the NCAA tournament. That's the issue.
That's the issue.
And I think like this game,
because Coleman Hawkins at his best. We're talking triple doubles. This guy is making insane passes. It's amazing. It's beautiful. But then when the game gets a little bit tighter and guys are pushing out a little bit more, and Coleman Hawkins is throwing behind the back passes on cuts that are going right out of bounds, and you're losing pivotal possessions, you're gonna be like, why? What's happening? Why are we letting this happen? So I see a little bit of that too. But again, in this game, we saw that. And they still dug themselves out of a hole, which made me feel, a little bit better about Illinois.
All you need to say about Illinois is Matthew Meyer is 7th on their team in scoring right now.
Yeah. He shaved the mullet, and he said it was because, Coach Underwood told him he should try to look more professional, which I'm like, this is hilarious. This is shout out to Coach Underwood. He's such an old school coach in that way. But then he also said he wanted to be the Big Ten Defensive Player of the Year. Matthew Meyer said this. This is what he told Jay Billis, apparently. So I love to hear that. And I love that Matthew Meyer is trying to work on his defense, because that means that, hey, at times in games, maybe in the tournament where they're struggling to find offense, Matthew Meyer's playing great defense. They're like, all right, thank you, but please take the ball, go make something happen. And in this game, they needed him to, because Shannon was a no-show. I mean, he looked like he was seeing ghosts in the first half. I didn't know what was going on. And Matthew Meyer kept him in the game. And then they, went on from there. So it's nice to have in your back pocket, but it's not a primary option, which I think he kind of thrives in that role.
I thought Billis put it well when he said that Meyer is Illinois ceiling. That's the way to describe him. When he's playing at his best,
national title type team.
You get to see how good they are.
Yeah.
Great commentary from Wendy Billis's husband, I thought.
Yes.
That was a very astute observation.
Famously known.
By Wendy Billis's husband. But yeah, man, the Illinois team, it's like the few times I've watched them play well, I've come away from it thinking like, phew, like I need to lay down for a second, because that was like a chaotic. It's like the whole experience with Illinois this year is like trying to harness the chaos and like get it all moving in the same direction. And that's Brad Underwood's job, like that's what he's trying to do. But then at the same time, the camera will cut to Brad Underwood on the sideline, and he's like more chaotic than his team.
He's passing out.
Yeah. And his assistant coaches are trying to hold him up.
The players always take on the personality of the coach, and Brad Underwood. I mean, what a personality.
As a neutral observer, I'm like, I need like one calming influence on this team. I don't think it exists.
I just love that it was over like a goaltending call. That was like pretty bang bang.
That was funny.
That was great.
But no, Illinois is going to. I do. That's the way I describe it. Like the trajectory they're on. I think by the end of the year, I'm going to say, yes, Illinois definitively can beat anybody, and they can beat you by 10, 15 on any given night. But do I trust that they're going to be able to win 6 games in a row? I don't.
Do I trust that they would win the Big Ten? I don't either.
I don't trust.
I don't think they're a team that's going to win the Big Ten regular season. They might win the tournament,
but if I was an Illinois fan and the Illinois is like a 4 seed in the NCAA tournament or a 5 seed, whatever they end up being, because they're probably going to have a couple bad losses, but then they're going to have some great wins. And when the water finds its level, they're like a 5 seed, say 4 seed. When the bracket comes out, I'm going to look at every single matchup, and this is me being an Illinois. If I was an Illinois fan, I would look at every single matchup and I would say we can beat those guys, and I would pick Illinois to win the national championship, and I feel really good about it.
I've done that multiple times in brackets. This is my problem with Illinois. I keep thinking that they're going to get over the hump. You know what I mean? I keep thinking this is the year. And I maybe because this year going into it, it wasn't the year. Maybe there's a chance. There's a spark. And you look at their guy, like Terrence Shannon has played in big games and big moments on big stages. You know what I mean? Matthew Meyer played in a national championship. These guys have played in the tournament on big stages.
Right.
So it's not like the lights are going to be too bright for some of their main guys too. So that is also another factor where, you know, with Io and Kofi and Curbelo, sometimes it felt like, oh no, this is not going well. They're just going to basically be like, okay, hands off, let it happen. I don't see those guys doing that. Even though Terrence Shannon was doing that a little bit the first half of this Texas game.
Is Cameron Krutwig still at Loyola? No.
Probably.
No, I don't think he is. We have nothing to worry about.
Okay,
for Illinois. We're good.
Hey there, thanks for watching Titus and Tate. For the full friend of the program experience, subscribe right below and come join us for all things college basketball. The action is heating up. Come join Titus and Tate.